My amplified unit! Better late than never. There was no way I was missing Smackdown's review and reaction for Friday, August 14, 2020. But truth be told, early this morning at about 5:45 a.m., I hightailed it non-stop to the Jersey Shore because I felt it was one of those mornings where I needed to conduct a multi-mile run along the Atlantic Ocean. I felt it was one of those mornings I needed to lay out and catch those rays and get that golden tan rockin'. And that's what I did. It was a damn good day, actually. I found a nice secluded spot on the beach. Nobody around me. I only got into one altercation this entire day. Only one. That's good for the amplified man. If you're curious what that altercation was, well, you see, I was on my secluded spot, nobody around me, and these three fucking idiots decide to throw a football within feet from my dome piece. Over my headphones, I heard them screaming. They weren't just throwing a football near my dome piece, which would have been disrespectful enough, especially with a pandemic in the world, but screaming like a bunch of middle schoolers. I could hear them over my headphones. I ripped that shit out of my ears and I looked over and I see them literally fucking next to me, it seemed. And I shot up like a cannonball. I'm like, dudes, the fuck are you doing? You got the whole beach you chose right next to me? And they're all looking at me like, oh, this is a fucking beach. We're throwing a football, man. What's your problem? I have the problem? The whole fucking beach you're throwing a football and screaming like a bunch of fucking middle schoolers near my dome piece. And I'm the problem? You can't move anywhere else and scream like some schoolgirls nowhere else? They're looking at me like fucking idiots, captained by dumb fuck Dustin, who's looking at me more clueless than anyone else. So I looked right at dumb fuck Dustin, and I'm like, this is gonna go one or two ways. You're all gonna remove yourself from the premises of where I am. You're gonna leave the vicinity of where I am. Or, dumb fuck Dustin, I'm gonna take your neck, and I'm gonna snap your neck. Right there, vertebrae 2 and vertebrae 3. Boom! And the quickness that it takes to snap my finger, that's all I'll need that time to snap your fucking neck, dumb fuck Dustin. Those were the options I gave dumb fuck Dustin. Luckily, dumb fuck Dustin had a couple of a little bit smarter friends, and they ushered him away because dumb fuck Dustin is like, dude, what's your problem? And I'm like, you dumb fuck Dustin, you're my problem. And you know what I do with my problems? I solve them. Dumb fuck Dustin was ushered away, and Uncle BC went about his tanning session, and everything was all right. We had about a couple, 2-3 more coffees, and everything's right in the fucking world. You know, it's always the clueless fucks on the beach. They don't know. Some people are just not from the East Coast or the West Coast, right? I grew up on the East Coast my entire life, so I'm familiar with the beaches and protocol when you're on a beach, right? You don't throw a football near somebody's fucking head. If somebody is laying out, right, their eyes are closed, they got headphones in, you don't go near them and start throwing a football. You just don't do it. That's beach etiquette, no matter if you're on the Atlantic Ocean side or the Pacific Ocean side over in California. You don't do it. Especially when there's a pandemic going around, you don't start screaming over somebody who's laying down and out. Screaming as you're throwing a fucking football when you have all of this extra beach spot in other areas, and you're gonna come next to fucking me. So anyway, sorry, that's another whole fucking spiel. But etiquette, guys. Be respectful. We're losing that art. I don't know if it's starting in households where parents are just they're not parenting these days. But kids especially are becoming more and more disrespectful. I don't know if maybe it's that's how they're brought up and that's all they know is to be disrespectful because they were never really taught any other way. They were never truly disciplined. And the other half, is it just because they're that dumb? I hate to think that a human being is that dumb, but it's getting to that point, man. So it's either they're being brought up that way or they're just stupid as rocks, man. And it's sad. This generation is a sad fucking generation. Sorry for you youngies out there. I hope you're not part of that. Get your education, learn respect, learn protocol, know where you're at all times. And usually, guys, it's common sense. It's logic, right? If something seems like you're impeding on somebody's territory, if it seems like you're disrespecting somebody, if you have that gut feeling like you are, chances are you are. Don't throw a football near somebody's dome piece. Because you're going to come across the wrong son of a bitch. You're going to come across somebody like the Amplified Man who doesn't put up with that shit. And then your ass is called out. And then it could reach even more drastic measures. You don't want to get to somebody like me, man. We're people that are impulsive. We don't give a fuck. We've been to the big house. We know the deal. And we're still willing to take that fucking risk to put somebody in their place and teach respect. If that's what I need to do, if I need to put that on my shoulders, if I need to do it for humanity, then I'll be teaching people lessons. Forever! As the Ultimate Warrior says. Anyway. I tell you, man, on the way back up toward New York, man, I stopped at a Wawa down in Jersey. This girl, Kelly, she made a badass coffee cappuccino is what they call them. Basically what Starbucks Frappuccinos are, they call them cappuccinos over at the Wawas in New Jersey. And man, Kelly made a bomb cappuccino. Regular coffee flavor. No fucking hoopla in it. She just made it bomb, dude. And I've been fucking sipping on that shit the 40 plus minutes back. And we're just now getting to the Smackdown review, man. What do you say we rock it? Let me down this, and then we'll rock the Smackdown review and reaction for Friday, August 14th, 2020. Give me a second. 14 seconds. Alright guys, as I told you, man, there was no way I was missing this review. I got my notes all ready to go. I was doing my work last night for you guys, man. Big E versus John Morrison starts us off. However, this match never truly got underway. It never began because Retribution hit the ring and took out both Big E and Morrison. And that takes us to our first commercial. So they want you to know right from the beginning that Retribution is a big part of the show. They want you to know right from the beginning that anything can happen tonight. And that sense of urgency. So I didn't mind it. I love factions in pro wrestling. I think they're needed. And I love a faction that is literally taking over the company. I love that storyline. No matter how many times it's done, it doesn't get redundant for me. As long as it's not done like every fucking 9 months. But I love that storyline. I'm not behind the masked thing and them just playing off what's happening in real societies like Portland, for instance, here in the U.S., in bigger cities, you know. I'm not up for them just kind of rehashing what's actually happening in the world, and that's the group that we have. I'm pretty sure WWE doesn't even know who this group is. These are just some fucking developmental dudes, maybe some NXT dudes. They don't even know who the final faction's gonna be. Last week, they were a little bit shorter. This week, we had some bigger dudes in there. There was like double the amount of people. I truly think they're just... I don't know, man. When I know that they don't have a plan, then it's kind of like, what are we doing, you know? I like to know that a producer of a television show, for instance, has a plan, right? Like when I watched Breaking Bad, the first episode, I like watching knowing that they have a story arc and they have a culmination in the final episode, right? It makes it fun. Like, it's building up to something really cool. When you don't have a plan, what is this really building up to? I'm pretty sure there is a 94% chance we're all going to be let down when Retribution is uncovered. And we find out who Retribution truly is. There's a 94% chance, knowing Vincent Kennedy McMahon, that we're all going to be let down. Because I don't think he has a plan. I don't think he even knows who the members truly are. Oh, man, but that was the start of it. They take out Morrison and Big E. Afterwards, Big E and Morrison claim that they're going to get their match in one way or the other. That ends up becoming our match main event later in the night. The main event spot itself, the slot, was for Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss. But match-wise, we would end up getting Big E and John Morrison later in the night, and we would get more Retribution in that match as well. We'll get to that in a minute. Next up was the Women's Battle Royal to decide Bayley's SummerSlam opponent. And it's tri-branded. NXT is involved in this with Raw and SmackDown. Sasha Banks and Bayley are the special ring announcers for this match, and they had some interesting commentary for all of the females that they were introducing. Those females, by the way, for this match included the Iconics, Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Nox, Lacey Evans, Naomi, Asuka, That's right, Asuka was in this. Even though Asuka's taking on Sasha Banks at SummerSlam, she was also allowed to be in this match as well. A little bit of Stephanie McMahon fucking with Bayley, right? And Asuka hits the ring, and she immediately starts taking out Sasha Banks and, of course, Bayley in the process. So there go your special ring announcers. Asuka took care of them. We went to commercial. When we came back, Dana Brooke was in the ring, Tamina, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Bianca Belair, Nikki Cross, and Shayna Baszler. We ring the bell, and here we go. We got a battle royal. For a lot of these women, this was sad because they were eliminated basically in seconds. If you blinked, or every time you blinked, a new female was eliminated. And that was tragic, man, because some of these females you want good things for. And to see them barely getting TV time, I don't know what's better, sitting in catering or being in this battle royal. Because I truly don't know what hurts you more. That was just tragic for a lot of these females. But one of the best female eliminations I've ever seen in a women's battle royal or Royal Rumble for that matter, one of the most best eliminations I've ever seen was Bianca Belair when she chucked Tamina Snuka over the top rope like a frisbee. Like I'm at the beach and these fucking dumb schmucks, dumb fuck Dustin and his boys are throwing the football. Bianca Belair basically chucked Tamina out of the ring over the top rope the same fashion. Hoisted her up and just chucked the bitch. Whoa! Bianca Belair, man. She literally told Tamina, you don't even go here. So I'll see you to the door. Man, Tamina flew, man. Like a 747. That was badass. Again, one of the best eliminations I've ever seen in a women's battle royal / even Royal Rumble for that matter. It was sad to see Belair and Naomi finally eliminated, because it was stupidly done. It just, well, I didn't like Belair's elimination and I didn't like Naomi's elimination. But the final two, when this thing came to a culmination, it was Shayna Baszler and Asuka. And when it was all said and done, Asuka eliminates Baszler, and that was a stupid elimination too. Asuka kind of just hooked her over the top rope. Baszler kind of like just gets yanked over the top rope, and Baszler just simplistically just falls to the outside. It was just not a lot of thought was put into this. And just like that, again, it's one of those things where I'd rather Shayna Baszler not be in it then. If she can't even throw people over a top rope. It's, I don't know, man. So Asuka wins this thing, and guys, after SummerSlam goes off the air next Sunday, we could be talking about Asuka 2 belts. Do you realize that? Asuka's in 2 matches at SummerSlam against Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship against Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship. There's a chance they could triple threat this, right? But then what would you do? Merge the titles? That's a stupid fucking idea. With all the females that are already not getting any TV time, all the females that have potential but they're not getting the time of day, at least with 2 belts, you're allowing twice the opportunity. And even that's hard to come across for these females. Could you imagine if they merged the titles stupidly? Then you only have 1 title. You thought it was bad for 2. I see some dumb schmucks. They must be friends with dumb fuck Dustin. But if you look online or you look in fucking columns and posts with the journalists and dirt sheets and you look under the comments, man, people are actually like, I like the idea of merging the titles. How? You just said a lot of females, right? Most of these people are admitting most of these females are not getting the time of day. There's not enough opportunity. There's not enough TV time for them. You think by merging it and making it 1 title, that's going to help? What the fuck? That just cuts the opportunities even more. Today's wrestling fan. They claim, they bitch, and they rant about one thing, and then they claim and bitch and rant about something else that totally contradicts the first thing. And they don't even realize they're doing it. I tell you, man, I can't even fathom. Can you tell I'm not a fan of merging the women's titles? That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. If you have 2 separate heavyweight championships for the men, you damn well better have 2 separate women's champions. Because even with 2, a bunch of females are not getting the time of day. Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Naomi, I can go on and on. Bianca Belair probably won't have a meaningful feud for another fucking 6 to 9 months. Sad? Yeah. Tragic? Yeah. Let's merge the titles, BC! It'll be even less opportunity! I tell you, brah. I'm pumped, man. I got my vitamin D. I took 3 fucking vitamin C's throughout the day. I had, a total 4 or 5 coffees. I'm fucking rocking, man. Backstage, Asuka attacks Bayley and Sasha again. So even winning the match, Asuka still is trying to get the Bayley into. Asuka has upped it to another level. This is a badass Asuka, and this is what I mean when I said Asuka dropping the title to Sasha weeks ago. The way she did on Kairi's last day in the company, in that whole storyline arc, that was a damn good thing. Everybody threw a fit. Oh, Asuka's buried. Asuka's ruined. And I'm like, what are you talking about? When that happened, that was like the best Asuka we've seen. We've never seen Asuka fired up like that. Not even in NXT did we see Asuka want to get her hands on somebody like she does Bayley. This is a fired up Asuka to the lengths that we've never seen before. And if it ends with her taking one of the straps, fuck, man. I'm okay with her taking Sasha's and having Sasha take Bayley's eventually. That's where Sasha should have her long title reign. But I'm totally fine with Asuka getting a championship back. But seeing this Asuka, this is an Asuka we didn't even see when she had the title. And that's what I mean. This was a blessing in disguise. Everybody is too quick to claim everybody's ruined or buried. Give it a second. Let it breathe. Have a smidge of patience. And sometimes it works out for the best, even with the old man in Stamford not even knowing that it was going to work out like this. But it just does. Because I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt, trust me. Also backstage, Mandy Rose cuts a solid backstage promo on Sonya Deville and challenges Deville to a hair versus hair match after what happened last week when Deville cut Mandy's hair. But Mandy Rose ended up looking sexy, even more sexy now than she did in the past, I feel, with the new haircut. So Mandy's like, thanks, you just made me more fucking Instagram worthy. So she challenges DeVille. DeVille, a couple of segments later, says, I accept. And she had some more words for Mandy as well. I'm down with the Mandy Sonya Deville storyline, so I am interested in seeing where this leads to for SummerSlam. And who knows, man? Sonya Deville could get a shaved head. I don't think she would mind at all, man. That would actually fit Sonya Deville just fine. I'm sure she would be like a G.I. What is it? G.I. Jane? Is that the name? She'd be fine with it, I'm sure. Sheamus. Backstage tells security that they can leave and go get a coffee because Retribution is not going to interfere in his match like they did in Big E and John Morrison's match. So security does just that. They go get a coffee. They take a match off. So we definitely thought that they were going to interfere in Shorty G versus Sheamus's match, but they didn't actually. Hour number 1 ends with Sheamus versus the shortest G of them all. White noise followed by a bro kick, and the shortest G can go back to playing on the merry-go-round or whatever his favorite ride is at the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, right? He likes to go to Disney World and ride the Dumbo ride or the merry-go-round, or maybe he likes to fly on Peter Pan 2 or 3 times. If he meets the height requirements, right? Because that's all he is. He's not Chad Gable anymore. He's Shorty G! This poor guy has so much talent, and I cannot take him seriously, as commentary calls him Shorty G. And there was one time where, who was it? Fucking Michael Cole. He literally said this line. Of course, the former Olympian, or Olympic training or something, he whatever he said, former Olympian something, Shorty G. And I'm like, that should never be in the same line. A former Olympian, and you're talking about Shorty G as his name. And I'm just like, you could have done so much with this guy. The name alone can ruin somebody. The Big Show is proof of that. Before the Big Show even became a big goof, the name alone ruined him. The second they started calling him Big Show, that was it. A name can ruin you. Legit. Look at those fucking delts. What the fuck? Ow! Ah! Ah! What? Oh, fuck, man. I didn't do delts for a couple days either. They're blasting with the new tan, man. Fucking A, brah. Anyway, what was I? Yeah, Shorty G. Can you tell that pisses me off, man? It pisses the delts off, too, man. Delt 1, Delt 2, they're fucking pissed. He should not be Shorty G. He should be an Olympian Chad Gable. Anyway, where was I going? White noise followed by a bro kick. That was it, man. Sheamus defeats, the shortest G! Okay, thanks for coming. Go ride the merry-go-round. Hour number 2 begins with AJ Styles and the Monster Abyss. Does anybody remember Abyss? No Impact fans out there? Well, I do. That was actually, you don't know it. He was in a suit and tie, but it's Abyss. Really good segment between AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy, man, setting up their match for next week on Smackdown, not SummerSlam. A lot of people thought it was going to be a SummerSlam match, but Vince thinks that the SummerSlam card is already stacked. So just like they did for a couple of pay-per-views now in a row, they're going to take some big matches and put them on the show. So Vince doesn't look at Jeff Hardy as a pay-per-view attraction anymore. Just like him and Sheamus got removed from the last pay-per-view and their bar fight ended up being on Smackdown. He did the same thing to Jeff Hardy for SummerSlam. He took that match off the card and he's going to put it on Smackdown for the ratings. So AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy next week on Smackdown, the go-home show to SummerSlam. And I like this, man. AJ Styles cut a damn good promo. He had this whole board up saying who's in his league. It said AJ Styles at the top, and then he unveiled who else is in his league who deserves a shot at the IC Championship, and nobody was on the board, so it was just Styles. So Jeff Hardy ended up coming down. He cuts a good promo on Styles. Styles says he respects Jeff Hardy, man. And that's why, for an IC title match, the answer is no. And he talks some shit to Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy just starts unloading on AJ Styles, man. So it was pretty damn good, actually. And again, later we found out that match is going to happen. So I like that whole fucking segment. Grand Metalik is up next. He defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. So this is another champion, because Nakamura, whether you know it or not, you probably forgot or just didn't know, Nakamura is a tag team champion with Cesaro. They're just irrelevant. Every time Shinsuke has a title, it's irrelevancy. So here's Shinsuke, even with a title, flat on his back looking up at the lights as Grand Metalik pins him. Kalisto returns in this match. If I'm being honest, I never knew he was gone. They're making a big deal that Kalisto's back. I'm like, whoa, Kalisto left? Where'd he go? Get a cup of coffee? No, he's been gone for a few months, BC. Oh, I never knew. You know why? Kalisto is irrelevant. If they don't care about Kalisto, what the fuck am I gonna? Making a big deal about Kalisto coming back. I never knew the guy was gone. Alexa Bliss has a one-on-one sit-down interview backstage reflecting on Braun's words from last week where Braun said, I don't even care about Alexa Bliss. And she's also reflecting on the incident she's recently had with the Fiend. Obviously, the Fiend giving her the mandible claw and everything. The interview kind of gets a little personal. She looks away. She starts to tear up, and we go to commercial. And I'm like, what? That was it? We need more out of Alexa, brah. We got it. What the you were building this thing up, and she looks away, tears up, and that's it. Luckily, we had some more from Alexa later on, though. So I just had to be patient. But I was pissed at that point. I'm like, there's no way that can be it. So, hold on. I'm fucking sweating like you wouldn't fucking believe for you guys right now, man. All day I'm out in the sun. I'm sweating. I come back before I even finish my business today. Before I even actually head home. I'm doing this for you guys, dude. Ain't no way I'm missing. I don't care how much I'm sweating out, bruh. I love this shit just as much as you do watching. So anyway, we wait for Alexa Bliss. She has another segment coming up. Big E versus Morrison. We try this one more time after Retribution derailed the first attempt earlier. The SmackDown locker room is stationed at ringside in case Retribution shows up. So the whole SmackDown locker room is around ringside. But Retribution instead attacks backstage, where it's basically just officials at catering. Right? Because the whole locker room's out at ringside. So backstage, it's maybe some broadcasters, maybe some fucking, officials. And they just get wrecked, man. Referees are getting slammed through tables. I think I saw one of the women announcers. She was like down and out against the wall as well. And they're beating the shit out of, hitting the walls and throwing tables and chairs. And they're spray painting the walls with the WWE logo with a line across it. So all that shit was going on. Finally, the locker room realizes what's happening. So they catapult to the back. But it's too late. Retribution has already done their damage. So the locker room charges to the back, but they're too late. Back in the ring, Morrison taps out to Big E's stretch muffler submission. And post-match, Sheamus bro kicks Big E like anybody gives a fuck. But it looks like that's going to be Big E's first real singles opponent, right? It's going to be Sheamus as far as storyline-wise. So we get a bro kick. All right, who gives a fuck? I want to see Big E's singles push, though, but I like Big E, man. I want to see him get that push. I've been saying that before he even got this opportunity. But I just feel like it's got to be a little different than the New Day gimmick. When I heard that music hit last night, or I first heard, oh, people at home, I just thought, oh, here comes the New Day. We're going to have a 6-man stupid schmaz fest. I forgot even Xavier and Kofi weren't even coming out because I'm just thinking New Day. I need to think just Big E. So I know this has been a debate for a couple of weeks now. Big E is fine as New Day Big E. No, Big E needs a change. I was down the middle. I just wanted to see where it was going to go as New Day Big E. I was going to be fine with it. But now I'm definitely slanting way more toward Big E needs a little bit of a character rehaul. This is the perfect time. Guys, the bottom line is New Day has gotten stale. They can still make you a little money. They can still put some smiles on people's face, but it got stale. It just has. You gauge the community. They're going to tell you. If you gauge BC, I'm going to tell you they got stale. They've been stale for BC for about a year now. But the rest of the community is finally caught up. We're done with it. Big E needs a little bit of a repackaging. There's no question. That was never more evident for yours truly than last night. Main event slot was reserved for what was being billed as the monstrous confrontation, which was actually between Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. Alexa Bliss is trying to have a heart-to-heart to Braun. Braun won't even look at Alexa. Alexa's like, we were good friends. Why are you doing this? Braun that I saw last week, that's not the Braun that I know, saying that you don't even care about me. And Braun's like, you just used me anyway to make sure you got what you wanted. I was just the big goof that's supposed to stand behind you. We were never friends. I meant what I said. I don't care what happens to you. And Alexa says, Braun, will you just look at me? And she screams at him. He finally looks at her, and Alexa just starts smacking the shit out of him until Braun has enough. Hoists Alexa over his head, and the Fiend finally shows up in the middle of the ring. And when the lights go on and the Fiend is there, actually, I don't know if the lights ever truly went on. That red light was on him. Braun was no longer in the ring. So it's Braun playing head games with the Fiend. Braun appears on the Tron, and he's doing the Bray Wyatt laugh. The Fiend is laughing right back at him, though, and he's even sticking his tongue out of the mask. The Fiend is loving this. So I love that. It's like, you're trying to play head games with me. You're trying to beat me at my own game, and I'm going to make you piss your fucking pants. Because you ain't going to beat me at my own game. So the Fiend is laughing right back. So finally, Braun gets pissed off, and he just screams. Literally just screams. I just thought that was funny. And that's how we went off the air, the fucking laughter. If you guys don't remember, because Braun and the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, they've been feuding for several months now. We've already seen Smackdowns go off the air with them two laughing crazily. All right, so this is just a rehashment. Maybe they don't even realize that we've already seen this finish before. This is just the Fiend and Braun. But the fact is, we did see this finish of SmackDown before. So I needed more than that. And they have to bring more for next week's go-home show. Because I was not totally happy. I like the Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman confrontation. But between Braun and Bray, absolutely not. Definitely more needed to be done there, man. Except for, Braun just playing games with him and then they just laugh at one another. That's simplistic middle school booking. We could do better than that. And that's how SmackDown went off the air, guys. So, a lot happened in this show, if you think about it, with the Women's Battle Royal, with Retribution, between Alexa and Braun, and even the Fiend. Big E, obviously, starting his first big feud with Sheamus. A lot happened. AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy as well. A lot happened, while at the same time, nothing really happened. You know what I mean? We had a whole lot of nothing, it seemed. I don't know what really got elevated. I don't know what really captivated us. There was a lot of moving parts, so maybe that was interesting to a lot of people. Even me at times, it was kind of interesting because there were so many backstage segments and they were jumping all over the place that you kind of had to pay attention. So at least there was a little bit more life last night. I will give them that. I just don't know if this all, made real sense. I don't know. I have to digest it another 24 hours, I guess, but let me know how you guys feel about last night's show. Wasn't tragic. But we had a lot of the time, we had a whole lot of nothing. That's how it felt for me. A lot of moving parts, a lot of all over the place, a lot of overbooking. But when it was all said and done, what does it lead to? What excitement level does it lead us to? Not a lot. So very odd. I don't know. I felt like a lot of things should have been much better executed. That's the best way to put it. Anyway. That's the review. Sorry I got it out late for you guys, man. But, sometimes the good old Italian needs a beach day, right? This good old Italian needed a beach day today. Thank you for allowing me that. Thank you so much. This is done. Still fucking good, actually. But, yeah, that's done. We have to get another one, and then we're going to rock out the night. I'll see you guys next week for a lot more content, man. It's the go-home shows for SummerSlam. It's hard to believe SummerSlam is a week away, man. You talk about flying under the radar. Much love, guys. Coffees and ass whoopings. I'll see you next week. Think, be, live, amplified. Always put them up one time